episode 6 of the Sunbird Crochet podcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from Germany. It's a bright and sunny day today and it's quite warm, but I've put on my warm crochet jumper, which is called the Adelong Sweater. It's one of, ooh, what's this? Some fuss. So this is the Adelong Sweater with some nice short rows on the arms. It's one of my favorite crochet sweaters. And I think I've made 3 in total by now. It's a pattern by Deanne, Addydae Designs, and highly recommend. So where shall we start? Oh, you can find me as Sunbird Crochet on Instagram and also on Ravelry, although I'm not active there at the moment. So let's start with finished objects. Then I only have one finished object. And then we're moving on to works in progress, which is also just one, and it's a design again. And then I thought I would go with you through quite a few. I mean, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 shawls, crochet shawls, which I've made in the past. And I thought I would show them to you because these are some solid favorites of mine. And maybe you enjoy them and you're looking for a new pattern. So let's share that after that. Then we're going to have some incoming things, again, as always. And yes, if you might have seen my genealogy tree, my family tree on my Instagram post, and I asked you if you would be interested in me talking a bit more about my other hobby, which is genealogy, so my family research. And I've got just a few things which I want to put at the end, and if you're not interested in these kind of things, then just skip ahead, and if you're interested in more, then I can always add a separate video about more detailed informations. And this is just scratching on the surface for today. So let's start with finished objects. My finished object is the Briar Rose cowl. It's a colorwork design, again, as a cowl. And I've used knit by numbers minis from John Arbon Textiles. And here the top, the salmon color is from Frau Odersocke, which is a German indie dyer on Etsy. And what else? This color is from Lay Family Yarn, one of their minis. Yes. So this is the Briar Rose cowl. It's I think it's a 10 stitch repeat. Let me just check. Yes, it's a 10 stitch repeat, and you can extend it as wide or as high as you want. And it's already available as a free PDF download on my Instagram. You just have to go into my bio and there's a link tree, and there are all the download links for all my charts and patterns. Yes, and that's all I have to talk about for finished objects. I had started with another cowl, and it was supposed to be the Waterhouse Mermaid cowl, but it just didn't come together. You know, you start something and you have it on your needles, and it's not wrong, it's just not, you don't feel it. And I had started to make here this, but it's too zigzag and not shaped well enough, and then Then I made some other design attempts. And I've made a chart and I started it, but it just didn't come together right. So I returned to a simple design, which is this one here. But I wasn't in the mood for a cowl, and I thought, why not using this chart for a colorwork head? So that's what I'm working on. So we're moving on now on to works in progress. And so I ripped it, everything I worked up for a cowl, I ripped back and I started again. And I started with 72 stitches because my head is quite big and I don't know how to size it yet for others. Maybe I just release the chart and you have to fill yourself. But this is how much I've got so far. Started with a dark violet, then a bit brighter, and I'm changing from color to color. And there's going to be a ripped border at the bottom, like a hem or edging. And on the top, I'm not sure if I'm going to do some decreases or if I'm just going to pull it all together and add a pom-pom. I have to experiment a bit with that. Yeah, so this is my mermaid, Waterhouse Mermaid head design. The chart is finished, but not the head yet. So this is something which still needs some patience. So what's next? Before I forget, that was my bowl. Before I forget, I wanted to shout out to another podcast, which is The Needle and the Hook, who mentioned me in their podcast. And it's Jessie. Jessie is the hook, she's the crocheter, and Kitty, she's the knitter. And they recently started a new podcast, and I'm watching it, and they're coming from the US, and they're really best buddies, and they're full of energy, and just have a look. And I hope you're going to enjoy them as much as I do. They're full of life and positivity. And yes, so they mentioned me in episode 3, and I forgot to mention it in my episode 5. So here I am now in episode 6. Thank you, Jessie. Thank you, Kitty, for nominating my sweater on the Rhinebeck. Tell me about your Rhinebeck sweater as one of your favorite crochet sweaters. That was really special for me. Thank you very much. And I also forgot to tell you about another finished object last time, which was my sewing project, the Tablerunner, with a squirrel in the middle. Yeah, I finished that, and it's already in my table, so I can't show you right now, but I've made a video, which I'm going to insert right here. And I'm very pleased with the result. I decided to not make a binding with the fabric, but I just used the fabric from the back side, and I flipped it over and folded in and then sewed it down. And what was a nice light gray, which works very well with the gray fur of a squirrel. Squirrel. Difficult word. A squirrel in German is Eichhörnchen. Did I mention that before? I think I did. So that's finished as well. So in fact, I have 2 finished objects, not just the Briar Rose cowl. All right, so blast from the past. I might have to look down a couple of times so that I don't get into a mix-up. I have my iPad here so I can have a look. Let's start with number 1. This is kind of from oldest to most recent. This is the Squitch. It's just called Squitch. It's an asymmetrical small shawl with a nice border, and it's really easy. You use worsted or Aran weight yarn, or you hold 2 yarns in a thinner quality together, and then you get this lovely shawl. This was for a very long time my favorite crochet shawl, and I can tell you the designer. Squitch is a pattern by Glenda Howell, whose peppercorn knits on Blogger. Now, the next one. Then I have to have it on here. This is a corner to corner big shawl, and I followed a pattern on YouTube for this one by a YouTuber called Omami. The channel is in Spanish, but I mean, you can just look at it and press stop and then press play again when you're done with whatever she shows you. And she has really lovely designs, I must say. Omami, O-H and M-A-M-I. Going to add the link below. So this is a corner to corner crochet shawl, quite huge. And I've added tassels to each of the 3 corners. Just simple tassels. It's a bit, it just came out of a bag. When I'm not wearing them, I keep my shawls in a bag, so if they don't get moths or anything nasty in them. It's very, very warm, and I wear this when I go out to the Christmas markets usually. No Christmas markets this year, but plenty of walks in the snow, I assume. I've used Drops Big Delight yarn for this one, and this would actually felt if I would wash it, so I have to be careful with it. It's better to just put it in the freezer and to air it. The next one is the Selkie cowl, which is designed by Kat Golden, and you probably know Kat Golden. She's very well known, British designer, and I've used Malabrigo yarn for this one. This is a paid for pattern. This is the inside, and this is the outside. This is really stretchy and squishy. Lovely, lovely cowl. Then I don't have to look that one up because I know it off by heart. This is the Frost Shawl by lovely Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet, and I was lucky enough to be able to test this pattern for her. I have to stand up for this one. This is a lovely shawl, and I've used Stylecraft Special DK for it. This is in Duck Egg Blue, and I think this is Wisteria, but I'm not sure about this one. But this is definitely Duck Egg Blue because I bought so much of it. I loved the color, I still love it. And I use this when I want to read on the sofa and I just want to wrap myself in coziness like this. But it's far too warm right now. So this is also a favorite pattern. Let's sit down again. And another shawl, also by Hannah from the Cozy Cottage Crochet, is the Treasure Island shawl. Yes, isn't that great? It's a very long shawl. With a lace design in the middle, in the center. The yarn is by Lang Yarn. Let me see if I can. I used a 4mm hook, and the yarn was Lang Yarn's Tosca Light in the colorway 1601. Then, no, we're not yet finished. Let's see, this is, I know what it is, but I want to give you as much detail as possible. Okay, this is the Rapture shawl. by lovely Rosina from Zines and Roger. And I've made this because I was inspired by Claudia's Rapture shawl, Claudia Crochet Luna, and she made such a lovely one in pink and yellow. And I had some yarn from Somerset Yarns, which is a UK-based indie dyer, also on Etsy. And I've made mine in greens and turquoise and a bit of pinks. So this is my Rapture shawl. I just love it. I have to reblock it again, but it has this really exceptionally beautiful border here with tips, and it's vertical one way, and if you would wear it on the wrong side, you wouldn't really say it's the wrong side because it looks beautiful like this as well. So this is the Rapture shawl by Rosina, Zines and Roger. And she recommends a 4 or 4.5 millimeter hook size, but I've used a 3 millimeter hook size with my 4-ply fingering yarn. Don't worry, I'm going to fold all my all my shawls again. And I have one last shawl, which is one last shawl for today. I still have at least double the amount of shawls. This is the Mimic shawl by Polly Plum, and it's an asymmetrical design with V-stitch sections and moss stitch sections here. It's a free design. I've used a 3 millimeter hook and Laine du Nord Poema in colorway 24 and 28. I've used about, I think the 24 I used in completely, and the 28, the second skein, I've only used a third. But I think that yarn is discontinued anyway, so Polly Plum, she is recommending Crêpies Whirl or Stylecraft Batik Swirl. So any of these color changing fade yarns. But I love this one because it's woolly and not cotton. And I love the stitch definition. So these are enough shawls for one day. Let's move on to incoming. And I've got 2 things. Not so much this time. First, I've got a lovely brooch. And this is by Breadcrumbs. And she's based in Berlin. And I've bought this on Etsy again. I think I'm a very good customer on Etsy. Anna Twert. No, I can't pronounce her name, sorry. But I can show you her card. And she's making jewelry in brass. And this is a Protea flower. And you know by now that I'm obsessed with Protea flowers. And I'm not sure when I talked about the Cowl of Good Hope design with the Proteas in it, that a Protea flower is actually a symbol for hope. So the more hope, the better. And I just love everything Protea. So that's that, some jewelry. And then some yarn. Again from Hippie Fibers. Yeah, she is making some gorgeous yarn. And she hits the colors right on the spot. The first one is 73% merino wool, 25% polyamide and 2% polyester, fingering weight yarn, 400 meters on 100 gram. And that's her label, Hippie Fibers on Etsy. And this is the gorgeousness. There's some pinks and mustard and a bit turquoise. Here, there's some turquoise. And you have to be quick to grab her yarn because she's selling out really fast. So this is the second one I've bought, which is alpaca sock yarn. 60% merino wool, 20% alpaca, 20% nylon. Fingering weight, 400 meters for 100 gram. Yeah. Are you ready? Bam! Bam! Yes, she nailed it. There were only 2 left, and when I put it in I put one in my shopping cart and was quick to buy it before it sold out. So beauty. That's all for incoming today. So I'd like to thank you for spending time with me again. It seems that I'm putting these episodes out once a week at the moment. I'm not sure if I will continue doing this every week. It depends very much on how productive I am and what I'm buying, and if I actually have some content for you. Thank you for being here, and if you're enjoying your time with me, then please hit the subscribe button down below and thumbs up or thumbs down. And yes, I hope to see you again here for episode number 7. It was wonderful to see you here. Bye!